poor 1804, had his head blown off on May 8th, 1915. Now all the stories I've told you up to now are true, so if you'll indulge a little romanticism of mine, I rather think 1804 is spending his time hopping from star to star, collecting souvenirs. But of one thing I am quite sure, that 1804 isn't singing psalms and spiritual songs, and that if uniformity existed in the skies before his arrival, it has been upset by the arrival of 1804. But he won't mind, as he was a companion to himself, and I dare say he is just as happy by himself up there, hunting for souvenirs, as the stiff old prigs who keep themselves warm by looking at their wings and halos. My dear William, I am sitting at a table on a cut-out earth seat writing this. I got a slight snooze this morning, but my eyes seem to think they would like a little bit more. I can imagine day after day at this job must get fearfully monotonous, and if the weather or trenches are really bad, it must be too miserable for words. But for the first time, it is interesting enough. They don't let one rest much, and in some ways it is more tiresome having to do silly old drill that you have done dozens of times than to listen to the booming of guns and whizzing of shells, which anyway create excitement. I dare say we may be having more exciting times in the trenches soon, though they have been exciting enough for some already. I hear you are not going to be allowed any drink in Alberta. I am sorry, as although I hate a drunkard, I hate still worse a lot of pigs who can only keep themselves clean because there's no mud around. You won't conquer the world, my boy, if you have to run away from danger. Drink may hurt a man, but so do bullets. But we mustn't run away. I just like to wander off anywhere on my lonesome and get into a cottage and rest or write. In the summer, one will be able to lie out of doors in a wood or a hedgerow. This country will look beautiful in the spring and summer. I always try to find out a secluded cottage if I can, when we seem to be staying long in one place, and then, if it is close enough, I can slip over to it and shave and wash in the mornings, as there is never much convenience for washing in farmyards. It's very cold for this time of year, followed by a magnificent day, very much like the weather we would experience up north, shiver in our bedclothes at night and back in the sun during the day. I think I would sooner be shooting ducks with Alfred up north, but I always thought when I was shooting ducks that it would only be fair to be shot at oneself, because the ducks didn't have much chance to protect themselves. So now, when I come back, I shall be able to tell the ducks that I took a chance of being shot at. Perhaps they won't care anyway, especially if they think that I am a poor shot. I like being in the trenches, as that is what I came to see. On one occasion, when we were returning to our quarters from the trenches, shells started falling all around us, and one very close in front of us. It made the march interesting, anyway. You hear them whiz along your head, and you can tell if they're going to drop close. You know the ping of a .22 bullet. Well, a shell just makes a much louder whiz, and you can almost follow the noise as it cleaves through the air. Some shells came very close to our dugout, and it wasn't strong enough to stop them. I was just straining the water off some potatoes when one came down a few feet beyond me. It is wonderful to see how many shells can fall without hurting anybody. It seems like such a terrible waste. The trench mortars are worse than most of the shells, but if you are looking, you can dodge them. Our dugouts are not strong enough to stop them. From your affectionate father, Alwyn. Now I know I've been avoiding this question, and some of you have been wondering if Alwyn returns home from the war. Well, you'll find out soon enough. And with this last letter, Alwyn sends a rather large package to his family. Pay attention to the parcels that he sends. My dear Laura, I got your letter yesterday and one from your mother. Many thanks for them. Last night was about as cold as any other night, but we were in a capital barn and very snug with lots of straw. I have one blanket. Half goes under me and half over. And then I put my overcoat over my feet and as far up as it will reach. Next to that, I place my skin jacket. I take off my tunic and socks and cap and keep everything else on. I would be as snug as I could be if animals didn't bite at night. You undoubtedly have seen our Allied posters selling war bonds, encouraging citizens to do their bit. Each man should be striving to see how much he can do, not wondering whether he has done his bit. We must get a better model than that. You must grow up into a big, brave Albertan, willing to give Alberta your all, not just your bit. We are moving away from this district. They say we are going into a more hostile area. I was under the impression we were in one already. I have just packed up a small parcel with some souvenirs. I hope it will reach you safely. I will now tell you about the contents of the parcel. The chocolate box is for you. It is empty, but I thought it would be nice for handkerchiefs. The curtains we got from a deserted hotel, but I mustn't tell the village where we got it. The curtain is for Dorothy. The large piece of shrapnel is for Alfred. It fell in the trench just opposite my dugout. It is, I think, part of the shell casing which, when it is broken by the explosion, breaks into fragments and acts like shrapnel. They come at such speed that at times they are red hot when they hit a person. One of our fellows was hit on the chest by a piece, and it was very hot. It didn't hurt him a bit, just gave him a heavy thump, and fell right in front of him. The little piece is for William. These rings are made from shell casings and are rather the go, but I can't vouch for its history. I don't know if you have any of them in Edmonton yet. William can have the ring if he likes. I can't get the large biscuit tin over for Gladys, but something else suitable may turn up. From your affectionate father, Alwyn. This next letter is addressed to Alwyn's father from his commanding officer. It reads, Sir, sorry to have to mention that your son, 1834, Corporal Bramley Moore, received a severe head wound on the 2nd of March, 1916. Doctor says he was alive this morning and has a fighting chance to live. Yours in sympathy, E. Cooper, Platoon Sergeant, 4th Company, PPCLI. He was on duty going his rounds when he popped his head above the trench. A sniper shot him. He had his steel helmet on, but the trenches were so close, the bullet went clean through his helmet and out through the back of his head. The last correspondence the children received from their father was a standard military postcard. There was no room to write any words of his own, just boxes to check off. It reads, Checkmark. I am quite well. Check. I have received your letter. And lastly, check. Letter follows at first opportunity. Now the following is the letter that Alwyn never had a chance to read. It's from his eldest son, Alfred, and it was returned to them with an envelope marked deceased. Dear Father,
Many thanks for your letter. We are having a play. The name of it is Macbeth, and I am taking Macduff's part, while Ted is Macbeth. I have just started to wear long pants. I only wear them on Sundays yet. Ted wears them all the time now. The weather is fine. The few roses that were bought in are all right. 2 of them have got buds on. The others that were left outside are not uncovered yet, as the weather cannot be depended upon. William went out to Fort Saskatchewan with Duncan and his father today. I am sending a book called Chronicles of England, France, and Spain. This book was written by Sir John Froissart, who lived during Edward III's time. That is the time the book deals with. I hope you got the parcel which was sent to you. We are all well, and I hope you are the same. I send my best wishes.
From your affectionate son, Alfred. It was supposed to be a short war. 6 months. Over by Christmas.
The Princess Bass Battalion, they sailed across the Herring Pond, they sailed across the Channel too, and landed there with a ring-a-dam-doom-dam-doom-dam-doom. The Princess Bass Battalion scouts, they never knew their whereabouts. If there's a bug in a mile or two, you'll find them there with a ring-a-dam-doom-dam-doom-dam-doom. The Lewis guns are always true to every cause.